Stand by to launch Fan Stream Sports.
Yeah, the speech.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Fan Stream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by now. Here's JP.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the JP Peterson Show. We hope you had a wonderful weekend without NFL football for the first time in forever. That sure as hell was not NFL football yesterday. What are you pointing to? Welcome in as we'll explore the weekend's shenanigans going on. Yeah, the Pro Bowl was a disaster. Just not having football, meaningful football. It was a little bit of had a lot of free time though. Anyway, lots of golf was played this weekend, so I hope you guys had a great weekend. Crappy weather, but is what it is. Joining me now, Nick Geddes from Outkick.com. What's up, partner? How was your weekend?
Good. I didn't play any golf, but I don't know if you heard, but the new PGA Superstore opened up on Saturday.
Oh, it did. I heard it was on the way.
It did. It opened up on Saturday. It's a Del Mabry in that plaza where like the melting pot is, Carrollwood, and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so is that there used to be what used to be there? Movie theater?
I'm not sure.
I think it was a movie theater. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. I went to church and I had some guys who said they camped out the night before.
Oh, that's sick.
Which is ridiculous.
For a
right?
retail store, all that stuff's online.
Well, it was a grand opening. I guess they had all these crazy deals.
Free stuff?
Like 65% off of like clubs and things like that. So
Really?
like,
Oh, I didn't know all that.
yeah. So
Well, I'm a golfer. I mean, I mentioned golf 75 times a day in my daily. I think I would have gotten 75 Google messages. Yo, Superstore's opening. I know they're listening. How did that not happen?
yeah, but I dragged Casey there yesterday against her will. But
She loved it though.
I fed her though while we were there.
They have a restaurant?
Right next door. I took her to
okay.
Firehouse Subs, which she's been begging me to take her to.
Fire-
And it just happened. To be right next door.
Whoa. Back up. She's begging you to take her to Firehouse Subs?
It's odd, isn't it?
It's really
It's
odd.
really odd.
What's going on? She have the affinity for. I think you better become a fireman. I think she's got. Does she know that the firemen don't actually work there?
I think she might have learned.
That's funny. Something is wrong with the audio. Are we good? Are we good? Good. Something wrong with the audio. How's that now? Is it good now? They're getting a reverb. It should be fixed now. Sorry about that. But thank you, Tommy and Richie P, for letting us know. Sometimes you got to hit all the correct buttons. Yeah, that's a problem. Actually, seriously, I mean, that's a great problem to have. Great problem to have.
You want to know how great she is too?
I mean,
she's mastered the art of I'm gonna eat like a very little amount. So when we go out sometimes, kids meal.
Wow,
Money
you're
saver.
getting off
Money
easy.
saver.
And they let her do that?
They let her do that
Wow.
every time.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, if you got a girl that's begging you to go to Firehouse Subs instead of Burns, dude,
All day.
I already knew she was a
All
keeper,
day.
but now she's really a keeper. And she went to the PGA Superstore with you.
Yeah, but you know what I have to do now in exchange? There's always compromise, JP.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're learning that.
I'm being dragged to couples night at Pure Bar on Wednesday night. So
Oh, wait a minute. They have couples night at Pure Bar?
couples night at Pure Bar Wednesday night.
That's more like a Pilates thing, right?
Yeah. Pliability. We're
Pliability.
doing Tom's thing.
I mean, as an unmarried man, I'll be happy to take your place. I'll just put it that way. I wouldn't look at this thing. If that's your trade-off, you win, bro. That's a big win for you. And I think all the guys will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a huge win for you. Until afterwards, when she starts whooping your ass.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I would wear dark sunglasses if I were you. I just tell her that the fluorescent eyes of light hurts your eyes, so you need to wear some very dark sunglasses. That was bad advice. Okay, that was bad advice. All right, let's get to the weekend happenings. And really, I mean, there's not a whole lot of sports going on. I mean, real sports. So we're going to get into a lot of interesting topics today. We got tons of interesting topics and a lot of great stories to get into. The Tampa Sports Authority put out their, I guess you would call it a feasibility study on the financing of the stadium. I got a copy of it, so we're going to go over that a little bit today. The Times did a report on it. Of course, we don't want to take what's in the Times as face value, obviously. So I decided to get it and read through a lot of it, the executive summary and whatnot. And there's a couple of very interesting things in there that I wanted to get into. First of all, it was kind of weird because a lot of the stuff in there referred to the split season plan. And part of the problem is with the split season scheme, one of the many problems was it wasted so much time, effort, and money going through a lot of these calculations. They had to do two separate plans, which is extremely costly, by the way. There's a lot of lawyers involved. There's engineers involved, all kinds of stuff. What it looks like they've done, at least for now, is basically taken the design that they had for the quote half season. This is one of the other false narratives that we were telling you. This whole boutique stadium idea was really another false narrative. It's just a little bit of a smaller stadium. And look, what do we know? What do we see in this TSA report is it's basically the same stadium that they're talking about. It's 27,000 seats or 27,000 available tickets sold, about 23,000 fixed seats. There's a 1,500 seating burn area and 2,500 standing room only, which are going to be, kind of like those standing tables where you grab a beer, probably right field, left field, tiki bar type things, which I love, by the way. I think those are great because I sitting in this, back then. It's going to be a lot of open air, premium seating, luxury seating type things. It's not going to be a lot of these huge, sections of seats. It's going to be a lot of reimagined. This is stuff from we learned earlier. So it also has an $860 million price tag, which is well below the $1.2 billion price tag that John Romano put out in his very negative column a couple weeks ago. And I said, well, first of all, you're right off the top. Your number is way off on the $1.2 billion. That's not going to happen. So it's $860 million, and that's without a roof. Now, I know people are freaking out about not having a roof. I get it. But I want to wait to see what the design is in terms of keeping people cool. There's a lot of different things there, a lot of new technology with that, indoor clubs, indoor spaces, outdoor air conditioning, so to speak. So, and there's also something that they refer to as a rain screen, a $90 million rain screen. First of all, if you're going to spend $90 million, don't call it a screen. Don't call it a screen.
It sounds cheap.
No.
Don't do that when you told me
that's a rain screen. No, just call it a roof. Just call it a roof then at that point, all right? It's not a rain screen. It's a roof. So it's about another $60 to $90 million to put $90 to $160 million to put a roof on. So that's something that would have to be worked out in the financing. What it does tell us is that the price tag is much more manageable. All right, we can argue about indoor, outdoor, whatnot. I think eventually, you can retrofit it for a roof as new money becomes available. Another, I thought, really interesting development because there's so many. Well, I won't say so many. There are a few, select academias, people on Twitter, Michael Lortz, Shadow of the State, some of these other folks that are all, you can't use public money for stadiums. Oh my, they're doing it all over baseball. Almost every baseball stadium in America, there's public money used. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is in this particular document. And it shows that in property taxes alone, this stadium is going to generate $14.1 million more annually in property taxes when you look at the development around the ballpark, which is right now a bunch of abandoned warehouses. Now, I think it's fair to say that eventually those areas would probably be developed, but they haven't been developed for 50 years. So as a baseball stadium comes in, certainly it attracts more people. It makes that property more valuable by 2 to 3 times, probably, maybe even more in some situations. So you're looking at $14.1 million more in tax money alone. Do you realize if the city of Tampa and Hillsborough County put up bonds or however they're going to finance this ballpark, their payment is going to be like in Atlanta, the payment on the park, the public payment is $16 million, I believe. $16 million. a year over 30 years, blah, blah, blah. Okay, right away, you're already up $14 million. That almost pays for the payment itself just by the increase in property taxes before we even go to all the user fees. So this idea that, oh, there's no public money in Hillsborough to build it. There's just no public. We could not do it. There's no way. There's no money in Hillsborough. Which, first of all, none of these people that say this ever bring up a shred of data, not one shred of data to show where. I mean, Hillsborough County, we're the 11th largest market in America. Okay, Tampa Bay area, and I know that's more than Hillsborough County. But trust me, folks, if other places like Atlanta and Texas and are building ballparks, of course, there's money there. You just have to come up with creative financing. I get it. It's not easy, but it's doable. It's very, very doable. So of course there's money there. There's money right there. There's $14.1 million. Okay, that in revenue that's going to be generated just in property taxes. And when you use the model that they used in Atlanta for development districts and user fees, well, you're talking about bed taxes, car rental taxes. There's tens of millions of dollars there annually that you can use. And I know one of the city councilmen said, look, people want affordable housing. I get that. We're not using any of the general fund money for that. That is also a priority. But that's one of the arguments is like, can't we do both? Other people are doing both. Other municipalities are doing both. So it's not like one is exclusionary of the other. Well, if we build a stadium, we can't do anything for affordable housing. Well, that's not true. It's not true at all. So let's just be, and this is one of the more negative things that were written in the Times article, shocking development, and the money will be there. I said this on Twitter the other day. Why would Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa go through all this trouble that they've been going through for almost 7-8 years and developing plans and using county attorneys and paying consultants? And the Rays, by the way, have also invested millions of dollars in design, in studies, and all these things that they've done for this Ybor ballpark and this Ybor site. Okay? And why would they do that if they had no money to spend on a ballpark? If it was just a dog and pony show? No, they wouldn't. Of course not. I mean, Kent Hagan's not going to be working on this, and all these other people within the county and the city working on these things, spending lots of money. If there's no money there, of course there's money there. They just have to figure out the best way to do it. So now, is there more money in St. Pete? I think there is. I don't think there's any question there is, but that doesn't mean that's where the stadium should be. And we've talked about this ad nauseum. And now this weekend, John Romano, which, come on, I have to say it, right? Do we not have to say this, Nick? What did I say on Friday? We're going to get the audio and play it for you, but Nick thought that was a little extravagant. So just paraphrase what I said.
You did said that. I bet tomorrow there's going to be a column by the Times, probably written by John Romano, that's going to outline a new site in St. Petersburg and how it's a viable option.
On Saturday, John Romano wrote a column. Could a dream location finally be on the table for a Rays stadium? You can't make this shit up. You can't. And but I shouldn't take a whole lot of credit for it. It's getting easy at this point to predict their next move. And I love the first line in this is borderline hilarious. For the longest time, they have pursued second choices and consolation prizes. Every time the Rays came up with a preferred location for a potential stadium, they were told the land was unavailable for one reason or another. What? Owner Stu Sternberg once preferred a list of his 5 favorite sites by explaining that each was deemed untouchable by the powers that be. Yeah, another negotiating point. What if it was no longer? And then it goes on to talk about Albert Whitted Airport in downtown St. Pete, over by the water, completely inaccessible for a large audience of people. Actually worse than the location for the Trop site. And by the way, nobody in downtown St. Pete wants a big baseball stadium on their waterfront. Like, nobody. All right, maybe there's a few people that they own the land around it. But other than that, nobody. So another completely ridiculous idea floated by the Times, I'm sure at the behest of Mr. Sternberg, and they show a picture of the island, and the water around it. Oh, wouldn't it be beautiful? Yes, it would be gorgeous to have a baseball stadium there. Unbelievable. It would be the most picturesque stadium in baseball, and nobody would go on the weekdays. Nobody.
Here's my assertion here. Finances aside, and this is from, I guess, the fans' point of view and just trying to look at it rationally. I understand you have, like, I get what a lot of people have said about, Stu's going to go where the money is, right?
Right.
I get that. And I understand maybe St. Pete at this moment is willing to pony up more than Tampa, from what I'm trying to understand here. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They have more money available.
I get that. But I think what we've been saying, and at least how I feel, if there's no point in building a new stadium in St. Pete, because you're solving nothing.
No,
that's what we're doing here. It needs to be in Tampa because that's the only way to see it change.
Right.
In our opinion, honestly.
Right.
And my thing is here, if we're talking about Tampa, like we talk a lot about Ybor, it seems like everybody's talking about the Ybor location. Are there other locations on the Hillsborough side that we could look at? Because it seems like all we're doing is looking at, these 4 or 5 locations.
Here's the thing.
Over there.
Here's the thing. We've been doing this for 10 years. We've been looking every time somebody brings up another place. Oh, what about over by Raymond James Stadium? We've looked at this forever. The Rays have studied it. The ABC Coalition has studied it. Every person who could possibly study locations has studied the locations. And you know what they come up with? Including the Rays. Ybor City, downtown, or more specifically, downtown Tampa. And it's for very basic reasons. It is the most accessible by highways. It has the most parking around it. And there's a plan in here to build a 800 space parking lot next to the stadium. It's in an urban center where people can walk to the games, Uber to the games, scooter to the games, bicycle to the games, because people live there now in this area, downtown Tampa. They're building high rise after high rise after high rise of more condos and apartments. And mass transit is going to eventually come into there if we ever get this done. And I do think we'll have a train in the next 5 years from Orlando to Tampa. I think it will happen. There's going to be some type of light rail. And so everything meets in downtown Tampa. And finally, the coup de grace. There would be 2.4 million people within a 30-minute travel distance. And another, if you throw in the Orlando market, it's another, when you talk about an hour's travel distance, you're looking at upwards of 7 to 8 million people. That's almost unprecedented in baseball. I mean, that's a huge number of people in this I-4 corridor and around. And in St. Pete, it's 670,000. I don't care if you build the freaking Taj Mahal on the waterfront, elevated 400 feet. It would make the beautiful view ever of the most gorgeous. If you build a great stadium on top of the Grand Canyon, nobody's going. It looks great. It's a fantastic view. That's not how stadiums work, people. Let's put it by the waterfront, surrounded by the downtown St. Petersburg. Look at all the sailboats in the water. Yeah, it would be great. It would look great. Nobody's showing up. Not in the middle of the week. It's not happening. And I just wish people would understand this. We've studied this ad nauseum, and it always comes down to the same spot. And we need, that's why all this foolishness just is crazy. And we keep arguing about it. Yes. And again, if the mayor wants to, pay for an entire stadium himself, new Mayor Welch wants to pay for it because the Rays are going to put in barely anything to be in St. Pete. You're just throwing good money after bad. It's location, location, location. And it's not, and I think people perceive me as some St. Pete hater. I love St. Pete. I love St. Pete. I go there as much as I possibly can. It's a beautiful downtown area. It's got great restaurants. It's got great bars, great music scene, great everything. The beaches are amazing. I love downtown St. Pete. The new pier is fantastic. It's fantastic. It's just not suited for a baseball stadium. And by the way, the Rays are going to make so much money on the Tropicana Field redevelopment without a baseball stadium. That money alone is going to pay for the new stadium, at least their part of it. I mean, Stu Sternberg will be swimming in cash. And he's never going to sell the team until that whole deal goes down because he's going to get 50% of the redevelopment rights. It's a huge, huge chunk of money. So, again, we're going down this stupid road of let's go find another site. Let's go back to square one. No, it's not needed. They have a plan for the Ybor Stadium. Let's focus on that and move forward. There's plenty of money there on both sides. And as a just Stu already said he'd put up 350, which he'll make at least that from the trop development, redevelopment rights. The city puts up, the county puts up 350, and usually they already have $14.1 million in this. And that's the biggest number in this whole study, if you ask me, is that's what the tax increase will be. 14, that almost pays for the entire payment. So we shouldn't even be talking about money anymore. That I've been telling you this all along. That once you get the plan in place and you see where the tax base is going to go and how much more you're going to get, and these outside economists will come and say, well, that's just money being redirected from other places in the Hillsborough County area. No, that's because of the growth that's coming in here. People are moving here by the droves. We need new apartment buildings. We need new retail. We need new restaurants. We need all these things to just take care of the influx of people. It's called growth, and it's happening on the east side of Tampa Bay, not the west side. It's not Waterworld just yet. So, again, let's stop talking and kvetching about the location. You feel better now? Because you asked, let's look at some other places. Is that? I just was curious. Rant solve your
I was
curiosity?
more curious of why we're looking at 4 or 5 different locations in St. Pete. Like, it just came off as people are just looking at, we're going to build in St. Pete. Let's look at all these different locations.
It's out of provincial Pinellas people. Our good friend Chris Palermo, by the way, our show is presented by Chris Palermo's law firm. He's a 5-generation Tampanian, and I'd love to hear this from a lot of you guys too, especially on the St. Petersburg side. Again, I love St. Pete, love. That there's this classic rivalry of people. Back in the pre-bridges, pre-Howard Franklin and some of these bridges, it was such a divided community and everything. There were grudges and there were, this, I'm not going to go there. You got to, it's like, I came here in, what was it? 1997, I came here. I don't understand that. I look at Tampa Bay as one big city. It's one big metropolis. Kind of like I grew up in Hollywood, Florida. I look at, South Biscayne to West Palm Beach, now freaking Jupiter, as one big metropolis. It's just, where are you from? I'm from South Florida. Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, they're just lines on a map, And I know we have this big ass bay. I get it. But it does connect at one point. There's a land bridge. We don't have to drive that way anymore or take our covered wagons. We can go over a bridge, all kinds of, and soon we'll have maybe a train that we can go over the bridge. I don't get that, but I guess it's a real thing.
I mean, granted, my opinion truly on this. I don't know if I've ever said this on the show, and we talk a lot about moving the stadium. I've never actually been under that belief that the stadium's in like this wrong place that I'm not going to go to because it's too far, if that makes sense.
The Trop?
Yeah. Like, I'm a big enough fan,
Yeah.
Where I feel like, okay, if they're playing a really good team and I want to go, I'm going to go, and I'm going to have a good time. And if it's a 45-minute drive, an hour drive, so be it. Maybe I'm just conditioned to it because I've done it for all these years.
There's lots of people like you and me. I'm the same way.
It blows my mind,
I'm
though,
the same way.
that how many people are in Tampa and St. Pete combined, roughly?
In our demographic area right now, I think it's about 3.5 million people in the Tampa Bay market.
It does blow my mind that we can't get, 20,000 of that just to go to a game every night. It's mind-boggling to me. And I'm just like, how many people are there like me where it's like, I don't care what the stadium, I truly don't at this moment. I just love the team.
Right.
And I think there's a part there that has to be told too. I mean, how many people, like, if you love the team a lot, I think there is truth that you go in some scenarios.
Yeah. I listen. I totally believe it. What I'm saying is not absolute, that the location is the only reason people don't go to games. It's not. The owner is a very huge reason why people don't go to games. Just look on Twitter. People are not going to support this guy. Now, if we move the stadium to Tampa, will that change? Well, hopefully he'll sell. But I think that objection will be overcome by so many other positives. It's easier to get there. It's a much better stadium. It's more user-friendly. All those things matter. And here's the other thing: marketing. You got to do a better job of marketing. You have to have more. You have to have $10 seats. You have to have Tuesday night 2-for-1s. You have to have Monday nights free military. You have to aggressively market to the price point in this market. You can't have the cheapest ticket be $35 before fees. You can't. Nobody's going on a Tuesday night. I don't care if you're in the freaking pennant race and in Boston coming to town. If your cheapest ticket is $35 for a bad outfield seat, no, you're not going to get a big crowd. Sorry, not happening. You have to market. There has to be an expectation level. Are you going to, do you really need to make $150 million in profit every year? That's not what other owners are making. But evidently, that's Stu's bottom. That's his ceiling or his floor. I mean, okay, 150. I'm a little bit hyperbole. But if you're, counting on making, 70, 80, 90 million dollars in profit before your management fees, if I was his partner and he was actually charging management, like you're charging me to run the team into the ground and piss everybody off, okay. And not the baseball team. Obviously, they do a fantastic job on the field. But I'm talking about how he runs the team off the field. Look, it's just these are problems. These are problems that are still. But the biggest one is it's the casual fan. It's not you, and it's not me. I mean, how many games did you go to last year?
Oh, like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I think it's a good number, reasonable amount.
That's a good number. I probably went to 7 to 10. And the bottom line is, if it were here, that number probably would have been 30, maybe 40.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to go regardless where it is. And I wish that more people were like that. But I think we've obviously come to the point, 25 years or so of this franchise being here, that we've come to the conclusion something's got to change. And I tell you all the time, the reason why the Lightning are so successful is because they grab the casual fan.
That's right.
When Friday night comes, Tuesday night comes, hey, let's go to the Lightning game.
Yep.
May not even know a lick of hockey at all. Maybe their first game, and they're going to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's doing that for the Rays.
Right.
That's just the point. I mean, you could even look at the way you talk about marketing. Sometimes I feel like these players, do they play a role in why their players are so unknown around the league?
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
of course
I feel like with the Lightning players specifically, I feel like we feel like we know these guys.
Of course they do.
We know so much of their personalities. I go to a Rays playoff game, and remember that game they played with Austin Meadows on the screen?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the first time I've ever learned anything about a Rays player. Was by going to the game and just listening that little minute of him talking about my favorite this, my favorite that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that should be known more, outside of just having to go to the game to find out.
They do very little outside marketing. Very, very little. Very extremely. And I don't think I've ever seen a baseball team do less marketing outside of their own broadcast. I mean, that's all they ever do. I mean, do you see a lot of billboards out there for the Rays? I see a few billboards.
I think Tyler Glasnow has said that. I listen to him all the time on these podcasts. Yeah. He's very outspoken about it. And he had a clip, I'm sure I'll try to find it for later, where he spoke about the stadium again and what they were hearing during this. And, I mean, there's just no marketing whatsoever. It's a shame because you look at it from the Rays trying to be positive here. This is really the only negative thing I think we could talk about the Rays.
Yeah.
Truly. On the field,
fantastic.
TV, the whole TV setup is great. The radio's great.
Yeah.
Everything about the Rays is great. It's just one thing we wish would just change. And it'd honestly be a close to perfect franchise.
And it's just, the consternation over this has been so bad because the owner doesn't want to do it, has not wanted to do it. He's playing the long game, and he's played all these owners. He's played all these mayors and the people in Montreal and all these people that think he was serious about actually building a stadium at that particular point because he acted like it. And clearly he was not. He wanted to take this all the way out to the end, get as much leverage as possible because he's making a crap ton of money at Tropicana Field. He makes so much money because they get revenue sharing money because they don't have a lot of attendance. But attendance does not equal revenue. If you keep your payroll low and you have all the central fund money, which is what all teams get, you get revenue sharing money as well. Local TV deal is up to $85 million a year right now, I think it is. I mean, you add it all up, they're into 300 plus revenues every year, and their payroll is $70 million. Now, player costs are over $100 million when you put in insurance and all that other stuff. But still, they don't market. They're not spending any money on outside marketing hardly at all. Mm-hmm. So what else are they spending money on? The light bill? I know that's a lot. And it's probably $1 million a month.
And to me, you could say $6 million. They have the perfect guy too now to market around.
Yes.
For so many years, it's like maybe they didn't want to market because these guys would be going in and out every year. They've kind of marketed Kevin Kiermaier. He's been like the longest tenured Ray, I think, ever outside of Longoria, probably.
Right.
But you can argue about his talent. Does it match up? Whatever. Now you have a guy that you've committed The first time you've ever committed to somebody for 12 years, I believe the contract is, and Wander Franco, the talent to match it up. That's a guy that should be plastered all over this town.
Everywhere.
And he's 20 years old, for crying out loud. Everybody loves a young phenom. He should be plastered all over.
There may be something to that right now with the lockout. They can't use the
I understand
images, but they haven't done it for years. So why would they start? Why would they start now? But no, they don't. That's what I'm saying. If you don't have Bally Sports, are you ever even seeing a commercial for the Rays, a TV commercial hyping? Because when you go to a game there and it's full, it's fun at Tropicana Field.
It's a great atmosphere.
I mean, it's I won't say great, but it's a fun atmosphere. It is. I mean, the playoff games are amazing. They're amazing. But to grab the casual fan like the playoffs typically do, you got to have all these other things around it. You got to have an entertainment district. You got to have in between innings actual entertainment. You have to do things that spice up the game, that make it fun, make it a fun environment. And these guys don't even want to pay for a full-time host to walk around and do stuff. That's how cheap they are.
How are you going to grab me on a Tuesday night against the Royals? That's the way I look at it.
Well, you know how I'm going to grab you? $1 hot dogs, $2 beers. That's how I'm going to do it.
Because that's another thing too. Like I say, I'll go, but don't get me wrrong. I'm picking and choosing which games I'm going to.
Don't let me be the marketing guy. Don't let me be the marketing guy. I'll come up with some stuff that would be borderline, inappropriate. It's what I know. I know. For some. But you know what? I'd pack the place. I'd freaking pack the place. You got to have an open mind. You got to have a little bit of fun, do some creative stuff. It's just, I watched a documentary or just a mini piece that I think it was on ESPN a couple months ago about this guy that bought this single A team. I think it was in Myrtle Beach. And I think, what did he call them? The sand crabs or something? I have to look this up. Anyway, basically what they did was he bought the stadium and the stadium and the rights and everything for like $1 from the city, because it was like this rundown place. And he went in and marketed the crap out of it. And within like a year, they were packing the place. 8, 9, 10,000 people. It was the biggest thing in Myrtle Beach. And that's just all from marketing. Just from marketing. It has nothing to do with the players. There's nothing. It's minor league baseball. It's single A baseball. Nothing to do with the players. If people want to get out, be among other people, have some fun, get some cheap food, and play stupid games. It's fun to watch a baseball game. It's easy to do, and they don't market worth a crap.
And I'll give them a little credit, though. I will give them a little bit of credit for what they did in center field by putting that in there. I think that was an added addition. Would you agree? I mean, that's where you hang out most of the time.
Yeah, and you know what? They did that, and they had the 7-Eleven nights.
Yeah,
and then it went away. And I said, well, that was corporate support. Well, listen, if you have a good department, what is it? Because it cost them too much money? What was their objection? Then pull it down. Like, come to a compromise. That works both ways. If you don't have corporate support, it might be you. Maybe you're charging too much, or you're not giving enough return on investment. Don't just, because the Lightning don't seem to have a problem with corporate support. The Bucks don't seem to have a problem with corporate support. The Rowdies don't seem to have a problem with corporate support. It's only the Rays. Of course, that was just actually not even true. It was another false narrative for the Sister City scheme. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, the Olympics have started, in case you didn't know. And is there trouble in Seattle for Russell Wilson? Answer to that is yes, there is. He may be looking to go other place. Ooh, I have a place where he could land. Talk about it next. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the offices of Christopher Palermo. If you've got any issues with sinkhole damage, water infiltration into your home, storm damage, if the stucco on the side of your house is cracking, you may have water damage underneath that you don't know about, that you need to take care of. Chris has dealt with all these issues, especially the stucco issue. That's a big problem here that a lot of people kind of let go. People say it's just settling, and it could be, but you also have to know if there's some water damage going on in your house. So Chris will direct you and let you know what's going on and how you deal with this with your insurance company, because they don't want to pay you what you deserve. So go to PalermoPA.com. That's the easiest way to do it. PalermoPA.com. That's the website. Read all about Chris. He's a 5-generation Tampanian, went to Jesuit high school, very well known, has a great reputation here in the set with the insurance companies, which is a good thing for you. So go to PalermoPA.com and check it out. All right. Some interesting happenings over the weekend regarding Russell Wilson. He's become somewhat of, is villain the right word on this? It's actually the word that Richard Sherman used in an Axe Strap kind of way. And I'll play this for you in a second. I want to take it out of context. But the point being is that, look, the Seahawks are going through or need to go through a rebuild. That is a roster that is desperately in need of major overhaul. And right now, Russell Wilson has the 6th largest cap hit of $37 million. Now, for the Seahawks, that sucks. But if he were traded, his salary this year is only $19 million, which is $6 million less than Brady made last year on with the Bucs. So his cap figure is very, very digestible for the Bucs. Aaron Rodgers' cap figure, his salary is, I think, $46 million, which you'd have to fit under your cap. It's completely undoable. Plus, the compensation would probably be more for him than it would be for Seattle. But this, it's not going to be cheap to get Russell Wilson. And remember this: Russell Wilson has a no trade clause, so he has to agree. Somebody brought up the idea the other day. Well, the Giants will just give him better draft picks, or this team will give him better draft picks. Yeah, but he may not want to go play there because they suck. Whereas if he comes to Tampa Bay, he's ready, willing, and able to. I heard Dan Orlovsky say this on Get Up this morning while Ryan Clark was saying basically Russell Wilson is trash. He's not that good. Dan Orlovsky said basically you put Russell Wilson on the Steelers, Super Bowl contender. True. You put Russell Wilson on Tampa Bay, Super Bowl contender. True. You put him on the Giants, Super Bowl contender. No.
Ryan Clark said Russell Wilson is not good.
Yeah, he basically said he's not. He doesn't change the trajectory of your team.
What?
There's a little bit more going on there. There's a lot of people that are jealous of Russell Wilson. A lot of people.
I've always felt like he's like.
Just say. It's been said out loud.
Okay.
He's not black enough. He's not black enough.
Well, that aside, I think he's one of the most.
Which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Is he not one of the most likable guys in the league?
Oh my God, yeah.
Like maybe, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna preface. He could be corny. I'm not gonna sure. He could be a little corny sometimes.
Go Hawks. Oh yeah, 100%.
Remember he was hurt during the Monday night game, and he's like running all the things by himself, the 2-minute drills, and he just looked ridiculous. But,
remember the Instagram post when he signed his contract?
Yeah.
With Sierra laying in the bed.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, whatever. Guy can play. Did you see him in the skills competition?
He's a pro, man.
Are you kidding me? He crushed everybody. The dude can throw. Ain't no doubt about that. And he's accurate. He is the type of quarterback, and I've heard people say, "Oh, listen, you don't want him. He's not good for the Arians offense." Oh, shush.
Oh, please
stop.
Can we get rid of this narrative that people are just not good for offense? Like
they said that about Brady, and I was like, it's laughable.
Come on, these great ones can go anywhere,
right?
Anywhere.
You got a great coach. You have a system. Okay, everybody has a system, right? But if you have great players, and you can move the system around, it's malleable. You can make it to fit great, intelligent. How many people were yelling and screaming about Brady? He's not a good fit for this offense, right? I was like, you're going to be out of your mind. They'll figure it out. It's Tom freaking Brady and Bruce freaking Arians and Byron freaking Leftwich. They'll figure it out.
As I've told you many times, the offensive system, quote unquote, is based on the skill guys. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Yeah, I think they're fine there.
I think you could run the triple option with those guys. And
I think you could.
Be pretty good. But anyway, so where it comes to Russell Wilson is, KJ Wright said this last week. I'm quoting here. You never want to count anybody's pockets, but if you have all this money and your goal is to win, then you have to take a little bit less to eat so everybody can eat. We saw how Brady did it, and look at him now. Now, let's just say this in case you don't know this. It is absolutely taboo in the NFL to talk about other people's money. So if KJ Wright is saying this out loud, can you imagine what the whispers are like in the locker room? Now, let's listen to Richard Sherman, longtime Seattle Seahawk, beloved in Seattle. And this is, and I'm not saying he's wrong in this, but I think it just kind of goes to show what the perception of maybe Russ is in Seattle. And if you were Russ listening to this and listening to KJ Wright, would you want out? He already said he wanted out last year, but let's listen.
Hey, and Seattle fans are going to hate to hear this because it's just, they hate accountability these days, but they're probably going to get rid of Bobby. And once you do that, That's it. That's
Bobby
it.
Wagner there.
That's it. That's it. You're in rebuild. I don't care if Russell's there or not there. You're in rebuild mode if Bobby Wagner is not there. And people are like, man, we got to, because you either die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
Yep.
And everybody's learning that the hard way. Russell's learning that. You either leave the hero or you stay long enough to become the villain. Because no matter what, these fans had never won anything before we got here. Yeah. They had never won anything. They went to the Super Bowl in 06 and we're happy to be there, Yeah. And that was their biggest claim. And then we get there, we win the Super Bowl, we spoil them with historic defense, and then all of a sudden that's their expectation. Now their expectation is we're going to the Super Bowl every year. Like y'all have only been to 3 in the history of your organization. Franchise, Now you're going every year. No, but you can't appreciate that because now people are saying, let's get rid of Bobby. He costs too much money. So there is no guarantee you're going to keep them. There's no guarantee Bobby stays. And when people start to talk like that, and then you get what you wanted, because they were talking about get rid of us. And they were like, we got replacements. We got LOB 2.0. And then you got rid of us. And then you realize you don't.
So to me, that kind of tells me that there's a lot of people in Seattle. And I don't think he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. Seattle needs a complete rebuild. And you're not getting rid of Bobby Wagner and keeping Russell Wilson. That makes no sense. You need, and imagine what those two guys could bring in terms of draft capital. Now they need to overhaul that front office and go find people that know how to draft and keep Pete Carroll out of it or whatever. Because what they've been doing drafting lately sucks for the most part. I mean, they've hit on a couple, but for the most part, they've drafted poorly. And if they do the rebuild, again, if I'm the Bucs, 2 firsts, 2 thirds. You get my first this year, which is 27. And with Russell Wilson next year as the Bucs quarterback, even though they have a tough schedule, I'm still saying it's probably going to be mid-20s, if not later. Hopefully it'll be 32 because he could do that for you. Pro Bowls, 9 Pro Bowlers, 7 under contract for the Bucs. You bring in Russell Wilson. You don't skip a beat. I'm not saying he's as good as Tom Brady, but he's pretty damn good. And I think he would fit well here.
I don't think it even changes the outlook of the team if you bring him in. If Tom Brady was here and Russell Wilson was here, I don't think it changes much. Honestly.
I don't either.
I don't think you say, "Oh, that team's worse." I don't think. How could you say that? That team's worse.
It's definitely not worse. No. And as I said, you have an opportunity to upgrade a few positions here. From what you were playing with last year, and keep most of the core of the people that have won you a Super Bowl and got you to within 2 wins of another Super Bowl. So, yeah,
I look at it like this. This is what I want to know. I know that in the 2000 Pro Bowls, going back a while, Warren Sapp recruited Keyshawn Johnson to Tampa. Did he not?
He did.
How many guys did the Bucs have there this weekend? 9. Including 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were playing in the game yesterday when Russ was quarterbacking.
Was one of them hiking the ball to him?
I believe so.
Ooh.
So
I wonder if he liked the way it's his towel placement. I mean, he learned a lot from Tom Brady.
He did.
Baby powder. And so, it's nice and dry under here,
yep.
Ryan.
Yep.
Where's this show going?
I don't know.
Wow, I could see myself taking a snap from you for quite some time. Wow, we're just talking about football here, folks. We're just talking about football. You creeps out there. So yeah, maybe there was a little bit of.
I don't know who the most. I mean, I'm going to guess the most outspoken of the cast that was there had to have been Devin White. I'm sure Mike Evans has some sway as well. He was there. I mean, whoever it was, I hope somebody was in his ear during that weekend. You got 9 guys there. Talk to him.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. We need to do a little digging on that. We'll have to go into the sources, Ben, and see what I can dig up tomorrow or tonight.
I'm curious to know.
Yeah. I think we should get Ryan Jensen on the show.
Ask him, did he like your snap?
Well, I didn't know where that was going, but that was well done. So look, guys know I'm all in on the Russell Wilson thing. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is also very much an option. And I don't think, the more I look at it, not a terrible option. But again, are we a Super Bowl contender with Jimmy Garoppolo? Contender?
Yes.
Yes, we are. We are. Listen, if Bucs with Jimmy G, I'm going, I think you're a 9-1. With Russ, I think you're a 6 or 7-1.
That's fair, but
right?
I mean, you know how I feel. I think he can win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo with the Bucs. I do. I really do.
Yeah, maybe. I still don't know if he's just not accurate enough and just not clutch enough for me. And Russ is all that. He's all that. And I know you're saying Russ is a better option, but can we? Yes, we can. I don't think there's any. We could. We'd have to stay really healthy. I just, if I got it, and he would be much less expensive.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys you could put. We've
in terms
gone
of draft capital.
Yeah, we've gone over the options. You could put a lot of guys. I think. I don't want to sound that whole narrative when people were saying, "Oh, Brady's not that good." You can put anybody behind that. That's not what I mean by that. I do believe though, if you take a Jimmy Garoppolo and you put him here, you take a Russell Wilson, you put him here to an extent, a Jameis Winston. If you want to rehash that one more time, I do think there'd be different results for him as well.
Yeah. I just, I hear this narrative when I bring up Russell Wilson to a lot of the national people. A lot of them say, well, Seattle's not dealing him. Really? Because they said so? Didn't he ask for a trade last year and mention specific places to go to?
Listen, everybody's
and it's not like the situation got better in Seattle in any way, shape, or form. It's gotten much worse.
Everybody's got a price.
Right, of course.
Everybody's got a price.
And people go, well, the Bucs don't have anything to give. They have 4, 5, 6 first-round draft picks the next 4, 5, 6 years. They have all their draft picks. Now, I'm going to say there may not be the most attractive picks, but you can give quantity for quality. I mean, you want 4 picks in a good young player? I'll be happy to do that. I've been around here long enough and covered this league long enough to know that if you want to try and go draft a quarterback, that's going to be the hardest way to win a title. First of all, we'll look at Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati had to go through 17 decades of losing to get that number draft pick. Okay. Yep. I'm not interested in going back to the number 1 draft pick level. Not when I have a Pro Bowl roster of 9 Pro Bowlers. I'm not doing that.
Listen, do we want to go into the annals of Bucs history and look at the number 1 quarterback
annals
draft picks
being
we've had?
The operative word there. Annals.
Yeah. Do we want to go look at it?
No, it's a bad view of that annal.
Yeah. Well, you want
to that's an ugly view. I mean, I'm seeing all. Yeah. All right. You understand. It's ugly.
Yeah, you want to go look at? You want me to start rattling some of these?
Go ahead. But you can't say Gronkowski because we love him.
I know. Vinny Testaverde. Keep going there.
Didn't work out.
Didn't think it worked
out.
Trent
Dilfer,
not so much.
Not here.
Was Sean King drafted by the Bucs?
He was in the second round. Yeah,
he was. Yeah. Can't score 12 points in a game. You can see the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Chris Sims.
Sean's also was a friend of the program until that comment by you.
I'm keeping it real. This is not personal attack. This is just I'm spitting facts here.
He'd be the first to tell you that.
Yeah.
And how much he wasn't working with on offense.
Josh Freeman.
The Josh Freeman experiment.
You want to
disaster.
We have to include Jameis Winston in there a little bit.
Odds are the point is it's very hard. And it's very hard to find that guy.
And the
process of getting to the number 1 draft pick is not an enjoyable one.
And the quarterbacks who brought you to your most success were Brad Johnson,
free agent,
Jeff Garcia,
free agent,
and Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, free agent. Yes.
Common theme there.
And look at Matthew Stafford. Look at Brady. The new template is screw the draft picks. Let's go find an established quarterback. Yeah. And it's working.
And I tell you what, I'm really interested in. If we're going to have Scott on tomorrow, which I believe we do every Tuesday, I'm curious to have that discussion with him about Blaine Gabbert. I am, because he wrote that column I told you about. I don't know if you got a chance to read it
yet. No.
But a lot of people were talking about it. And I want to hear that perspective, because I think that's curious that he might actually be in play here.
Well, I just, I'm sure it's possible. I mean, we've seen his body of work. If he, but Tannehill looked like crap at times in Miami, and look what he's done in Tennessee. I mean, it's not unprecedented, but I still like the Russell Wilson option better.
Yeah.
And you're going to give up draft picks, which is going to hurt you down the road. I get that.
I ain't worried about that right now.
But we have to understand that there's going to be a reckoning for the Bucs at some point with all the cap money we've pushed down the line. We're going to get to rebuild mode soon, but doesn't have to be this year. It would be stupid to do it this year. And I just think if you got this talented a roster to give it to such an unknown. I mean, in terms of success, Blaine Gabbert has had very little success in this league, very little, and he's been around a long, long time.
I think the one thing I can say about him is there is situations based on this, and you look at where he had to be at was Jacksonville, the hellhole.
Yeah.
Right. San Francisco before Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
The hellhole. And that was the end of his starting career. He's had a lot of time in Bruce Arians' offense, like 5 years worth, and sitting behind some really good quarterbacks like a Carson Palmer, like a Tom Brady, obviously. I'm not saying I'm not like advocating for him to be the guy.
It's door number 3.
It probably is door number 3. But
door number 1 is Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Door number 2, and I'm taking Aaron Rodgers out of this because he's too expensive. You can't re-sign anybody if you bring him in. You can't re-sign Jensen. It'd be hard to re-sign Godwin, hard to get back CD3. So I think with Russell Wilson, you can bring all those guys back. That's the difference. To me, that's huge, huge, huge difference. So it's Russell Wilson. Door number 2 is Jimmy Garoppolo. Door number 3 is the Gabbert Trask. Moving on.
Yeah.
Keeping your draft picks. So
I'd say so. Right.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go with that. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the Olympics have opened with a thud. And a thud and thugs. It's a thud and thugs Olympics. We will explain when we come back. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? Jay here for Greenleaf Title. You choose title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up a limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan.
Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636 or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Hey, Greg Wolf's going to join us at 11:30. Just got back from the NHL All-Star Game where Victor Hedman won the fastest shot competition. What do you think about that? It's an interesting weekend. So we'll relive that with our friend Greg Wolf at 11:30. Oh, our second area is brought to you, a second hour of the show is brought to you by, I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself, too much coffee. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. You can find them at BAMMC.com, located in South Tampa. They are a different kind of healthcare place. If you're looking for a new general practitioner or a primary care practitioner that's going to focus on your overall health, these are the folks. Christopher Lugo and his great medical team there. It's modern medical. That's what it's about. It's not this old tried, write you a script just to mask the symptoms type medical care. No, this is forward thinking, get you in shape, give you a meal plan, look at what's going on with you personally in your body and how you metabolize certain medicines and supplements, and they'll make a personal plan just for you to optimize your health. It's not just about come see when you get sick or have an injury. It's about a healthy lifestyle. And if you're looking for hormone replacement, they do great work there as well. They work with men and women. Testosterone replacement is something obviously a lot of us men need. I've been doing it for close to 6 or 7 years now, and it's a game changer. And they do it the right way there. So check them out, BAMMC.com. It's BAMMC.com. All right, the Olympics have started. Did you know? I mean, on a weekend when there was no NFL football, I don't think there was any real sporting event that I was dying to see.
No, just a bunch of star games played at quarter speed.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, Pro Bowl's disaster. Hey, Antoine Winfield, though, did have a pick six.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, although he did get double tapped, two-hand touched by Renfro, and the whistle wasn't blown because they were playing two-hand touch.
Did you see Mac Jones, by the way?
Yeah. The whistle blew, he kept running, and then he did something
did the gritty
close to the gritty.
I thought it good gritty.
Dude, that was embarrassing.
White dude.
The whole thing was embarrassing. Like, it's funny because he's the guy at gym class that's trying real hard.
Yeah.
He's that guy. He's like playing really, really hard at gym class, which kind of like that was me. Total honesty there. He's just trying too hard. Like, dude, chill, man. Everybody else is playing at like half speed, quarter speed.
The best part was they showed Justin Jefferson's face during it, like thinking like he'd be laughing. He was just like, "What the f is this dude doing?"
That was the best part of it. Mike Evans caught a touchdown.
Yeah. He did.
Was that from Russell Wilson?
I don't know. Russ had a bad day.
He had a couple of picks.
He had a couple of picks. Not a good day for him.
The one he throws deep, and the guy's like, "Did stop running like an hour ago." Yeah, whatever. It's bad. All right, so back to the Olympics, which got definitely the Pro Bowl got a 10 times better rating than the Olympics. I know that for a fact. So the Olympic ratings are down 40%, and that's down 43% from the worst watched Olympic opening ceremony ever, which was the 2021 in Tokyo last year. So here's a staggering number. You know, in the London games, over 40 million people watched in prime time the opening ceremonies. You know how many people watched in prime time? 8.7 million people in the United States. 8.7 million people. Oh my God. There were 28.3 million people watching the 2018 Winter Games total. This one was 16 million. So a 43% drop just from the last Winter Olympics. That's staggering. That's a staggering number. You know how much NBC had paid for the Olympic rights for, I think it was for 6 Olympics? $7.75 billion with a B. $1 billion. They're going to be doing make goods on, what's their big show now on NBC? Us? This is Us? Whatever it is.
No idea.
They're going to be doing make goods on that to like 2050 with this kind of rating. If you promise a certain number to advertise, if you don't reach that, you've got to give them basically make goods or refund their money, which they usually just give them make goods in other programming. They're going to get crushed on this. There was a poll done on why people aren't watching the Olympics or not going to watch. 65% said they're just not interested in the events. 57% said not interested in the athletes, which, by the way, there has been zero promotion for this.
Yeah.
Of athletes. I haven't seen hardly anything. Of course, I don't watch the Today Show anymore. I don't watch NBC hardly at all anymore for anything except maybe a live football game. And I saw some advertisements in their football coverage, but nothing to really talk to me about athletes or making me want, telling me the story of the athletes that I want to watch. So I don't know what they've been doing on social media.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a lot of stuff to make me interested there.
I don't know who I'm supposed to like fall in love with here.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Like, I mean, maybe I'm living under a rock. I had no idea who Chloe Kim was until 2 days ago.
Yeah, you were kind of, yeah.
Maybe I'm under a rock.
She was the star, one of the stars.
I guess she's a star.
Yeah, superstar.
But I don't know if that's telling that I just don't know or what, or I'm not paying attention. But besides her, I guess, like, who's the big star? I don't know.
Shaun White? Michaela Shiffrin missed a gate yesterday, so she's out.
No idea who that is.
She's one of our top alpine skiers. Our other top freestyle skier, Elaine Gu, who grew up in America and used our facilities to become the greatest freestyle skier, jumped over to China's team at the 11th hour because she probably got paid a crap ton of money by China to go do that and trade her. And now she's going to win, medals for China, which is complete. I mean, you're not winning for China. You just signed up. You're a free agent mercenary. It's not the way the Olympics is supposed to work. Yeah. It's supposed to be, winning in the Olympics is about, kind of a confirmation of your culture and how well you are doing as a culture. Like, we have great facilities, great training facilities. This is why our athletes do the best, right? Very simply overarching view. But if you grow up here and you train here, you get all the perks of America, and then decide to go to China and they can put her up like she's like some Chinese person. No, not at all. Sorry about that. 40% of people said the reason they're not watching is because China is hosting the Olympics. On a political breakdown, 57% of Democrats said they would watch. 40% of Republicans said they will, because, of course, we have to break down everything politically as well. The hashtag Genocide Olympics has been trending, so that doesn't help people tune into your games. And interesting to note, can you go to my Twitter? I posted something from J.A. Adonde. Did you see this?
I did see a little bit of it this weekend.
This is, I don't know on what level I can even, reprehensible, idiocy, moronic, agenda driven. So this is J.A. Adonde on Around the Horn. And he, I did know this part. He is a journalism professor.
He's the head of the journalism professor at Northwestern, I believe.
Oh my God. This is scary. Literally, this is just horribly scary that this guy is a journalism professor. And I've honestly enjoyed a lot of his takes over the years. This is, and first of all, you have, this is a segment on Around the Horn. And what's the host name? Whatever his name is. Andy or Tony Reale. Tony Reale does a great job. Really does a great job. I think he really good. Smart guy. He's looking into the camera and delivering this lead in. This is the most staged thing I think I've ever seen. Well, on ESPN. It's bizarre. Listen to the whole response and then we'll talk about this.
Genocide and human rights violations.
Can you start a little earlier?
Tibet region and against Uyghurs.
That's very
in China.
All right.
The International Olympic Committee chose Beijing while stating it is committed to human rights. Today's opening ceremony, which again you will see tonight, featured a lighting of the torch by two members of the Chinese Olympic team, one of which is Uyghur. J.A. Adonde as a fan and then as a reporter, how do you reconcile enjoying this competition while also considering everything I just said?
I think it's standard in sports right now. You have to have a cognitive dissonance. You need to compartmentalize. We've never had a more enjoyable NFL playoffs in this country, and we've never had more people watching the playoffs, and yet it goes on amid the ongoing allegations against Dan Snyder owning the Washington football team and the continuous concussion concerns. And now the concerns about diversity and the allegations and the questions about competitive integrity, even all of that. And yet we're still enjoying the games. And who are we to criticize China's human rights records when we have ongoing attacks by the agents of the state against unarmed citizens? And we've got assaults on the voting rights of our people of color in various states in this country. So
can you pause it right there? Okay. So he just compared the United States records on human rights to China. He just compared the shooting of unarmed people, which in 2019, I believe, there were 19 unarmed African Americans that were shot by police. 19. Okay? That's not a genocide, J.A. That's not a genocide. And I'll go further. ESPN's coverage of the Jacob Blake shooting, and many others, completely agenda-driven lies on so many levels. And it has stoked the fire against law enforcement and what do we have? More cop killings than in the history of this country. An assault on law enforcement officers every day, ambushes, because of this ridiculous narrative that ESPN and street media have been playing. Are there incidents? Absolutely. Are there too many? Yes. Is it a genocide? No. Is it a much smaller problem than the other crime that's going on because of the defund the police movement? Not even close. Of course it is. The defund the police movement has led to so many black people being killed, way more than cops are killing. It's not even close. And by the way, a lot of those police officers that are getting killed are black. So this narrative that you've been pushing, this false narrative, now you have equated Chinese human rights violations, which are not just about the Uyghurs, by the way. It's about people not being able to have babies, getting babies being killed because of population control, social scores, lack of freedom. You're complaining about voter ID, comparing voter ID to a country that doesn't have real voting. This is the dumbest, stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I know for a fact this guy's way smarter than that. way smarter than that. So there's another reason that he's saying this stuff. You look like a fool. But in case you didn't know that all this is directed at a very young African-American population that ESPN is trying to convert to normalizing these ideas of Chinese propaganda, as long as you know that's going on at ESPN and Disney. If you didn't know, this is Exhibit A. Exhibit A. Go ahead, continue.
I think it is possible, and it's necessary more than ever to just shut everything out if you are to enjoy the actual games themselves.
I appreciate everything you just said there. You have covered 5 Olympic Games, if I have that right, Jay? Just to follow up here specifically on China here. We're talking about human rights violations. We're talking about genocide. And the IOC chose China, specifically said, yes, we will go there, while maintaining they are for human rights and things of that nature, and that sports can conquer that. How do you view it?
Well, again, where can you choose that's free? And look at some of the other recent hosts of the games, including Russia and some other recent players. It's very hard to find a country that is problematic when it comes to human rights.
I can't listen anymore. Wow. I mean, seriously? And you know, there are probably a lot of young minds that don't know crap about the United States history or Chinese history. No, the United States is not perfect in any way, shape, or form. We're made up of sinners. The world is, by the way. But you're trying to compare these two and saying, just compare. Don't worry about the Uyghurs. Don't worry about the fact that nobody can walk outside of the Olympic venues. Don't worry about how no international fans were let in there because of, quote, COVID. I thought there were only 3,000 deaths nationwide in COVID. Well, you shouldn't have a problem. Don't forget about the fact that journalists are being pulled off of TV like this Dutch journalist was pulled off the other day. And then the IOC, this is unbelievable. The IOC had the gall to say, to release some stupid-ass statement about, oh, that was an isolated incident. It was an overzealous guard, blah, 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 blah. No, that wasn't the case, because guess what? When the Dutch company, the broadcast company, was asked about this, said, no, we've been harassed the whole time we've been there. That is the rule. It's not the exception. This was not an overzealous guard. Everywhere we go, we're watched and told not to do this, not to do that. Folks, there is zero freedom in these countries. And another question that somebody asked I thought was very interesting was, how come the IOC is gravitating toward these totalitarian regimes? Why? Because getting paid gobs and gobs of money. They haven't been back to the United States since the Salt Lake Olympics. And you know why? Because what happened in the Salt Lake? Oh, our reporters actually exposed the IOC for the huge cash grab and absolute corruption that exists within the IOC. So their answer to that is, well, we're not going back to America until they finally have to do in 2028 in LA. And by that time, LA will be burned to the ground. So I'm not sure they'll actually be able to host an Olympics. So it might not be in LA now after I said that. If I say bad things about LA while I'm in LA, will strong arm guards come up from Garcetti's office and arrest me for not wearing a mask? I have it on. You're not wearing a mask. You're going to jail. This is like, we're normalizing this behavior. No, it's not okay, folks. Genocide, this just in. Genocide, not okay. Not okay. Sorry, JA, not okay. Wow. I mean, I'm surprised we even have to say that at this level.
Why are they like, I don't know, like, why are those issues even intertwined is my thing. Like, yes, we have issues over here. We all get that, right?
Yeah, of course.
But why do we have to say, oh, well, we can't talk about those. We have our own. Why do we have to pit like that? Why do we do that? Why can't you just acknowledge that those issues are maybe even more serious, I'd argue.
Of course they are.
And that we could talk about it without having to talk about our own.
And
Why do we have to do that?
You completely tank your credibility by not taking on China when you're talking about social justice issues in America and giving China a pass like he just did. Oh, don't worry about the genocide, bro. Don't worry about the fact that people can't have as many babies as they want. Don't worry about the fact that there's forced abortion. Don't worry about the fact that there's forced vaccination. Oh yeah, we do that in our country too. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just compartmentalize the Olympics and watch it. It'll be fun. Yeah, I know just outside the gates they're taking people to concentration camps because they don't agree with the government. But stop. Don't worry about that. Just watch the games.
Yeah,
shut up, Jay.
Golly. Correct me if I'm like misunderstanding what he said, but when he was talking about we enjoy football at the highest level right now, amid concussions and all these different things. So
concussions equals genocide.
So we can enjoy the Olympics amid genocide the same way. Yeah. I don't see how those two things are similar.
No, you got it.
I mean, that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
I don't get that one. And I guess I'm surprised hearing. I'm honestly surprised hearing this a little bit from JA. I really am. Was not expecting that when I heard it.
It literally.
I can't fathom how you have that take. I can't.
What's interesting is the other 4 people on the screen are just sitting there looking into the camera like just off camera. There's a CCP official with a gun to their head. Like none of them even chimed in on this. Because clearly JA was the one given the $5 million by the Chinese government to spew this bull crap out there. And people go, oh, yeah, we got problems here too. So what? I'm kidding about the $5 million. That was hyperbole. Come on, man. Are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, Bob Costas went on a rant about this the other day, and I thought it was really, really good. I was going to play it today, but we're a little short on time here. It's just it's ridiculous that's taken as actual that's credible and in some way. Come on, man. And of course, me criticizing him makes me a racist, by the way. Speaking of our troubles with our hiring issues, which we have detailed greatly here. I mean, clearly the NFL has a problem hiring African-American head coaches, but it looks like we're going to get one hired. Oh, my bad. Wait, we already had one hired for the Miami Dolphins. Dude, come on. I mean, I'm laughing here because we have to lay everybody. Everybody, I still don't understand how Russell Wilson is considered just black when he's mixed. Colin Kaepernick is just black when he's mixed, right? And I'm on the record. I hate all these labels. We shouldn't be labeling anybody. But Mike McDaniel is now the new head coach of the Dolphins, and he considers himself what? A multicultural mixed race. He looks white as the driven snow. I'm sorry. I mean, he looks like your typical skater boy. Does he not?
Yeah.
But we're considering this a minority hire.
I guess so.
I'm reminding you that I think there's a problem here, a big problem with the NFL with these older white owners that refuse to hire black coaches. I think what Blaine Flores said has tons of merit, by the way. But this is so funny that we're just accepting this guy as a quote multicultural minority when he's clearly not. Explain to me this.
I don't know. I saw it yesterday on ESPN. It literally said underneath his thing, it said first colored head coach to be hired this cycle. It read something like that. And I'm like, and I didn't even know that this guy was biracial at the time. And I looked at him like, huh?
Well, and that's the point. If we have to is he biracial? Then what are we doing?
I just don't.
Everybody's biracial by definition, believe it or not.
Okay. I'm gonna
even as white as you are.
Yeah, and this will segue.
And me.
Yeah, and this will segue into the new thing where I'm sure everybody knows now, or if you don't, Lovie Smith looks like he's going to be the head coach of the Texans, right?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
They clear as day, they want Josh McCown to be their head coach. They have interviewed this guy so many times. He was like one of their first candidates. He's all they wanted. And then the Brian Flores thing happened. And all of a sudden, so Josh McCown's out, and we're interviewing Lovie Smith, and he's going to be hired today. Like, whoa, where did this come from? I mean, did the NFL ring up the Texans and say, hey, you can't hire this white guy with no experience because this is bad?
100%.
How does that make it better?
To hire an older black man who had an unbelievable career, and I love him as a person, and I think he's fantastic in every way. I love me some Lovie Smith. I've known Lovie Smith since he was there in the early, since late 90s. Love Lovie Smith. And when he was here as a head coach, I wasn't here. I was in Atlanta, but total respect for that man. I mean, total respect. But I'm sorry, Brian Flores just had 2 winning seasons with the Dolphins.
Yeah. If you're
with
gonna,
a crap roster.
if you're going to go down that right, Brian Flores was a finalist right next to those two guys.
Yes. You cannot make the case that Lovie Smith is going to be a better coach than Brian Flores. You cannot make the case. It's incontrovertible. It just is. It's not even close. It's not even close. This young man, Brian Flores. So what did the NFL do? So they rang up Houston and they said, okay, you're not going to hire McCown. You're going to hire Lovie Smith because we're not going to get Brian Flores because he's suing us. We can't give him a job. All of this has just gone so wrong. It's gone so effing wrong. It starts with the Rooney Rule, which is terrible for black coaches. Black coaches don't like it because it feels like they're getting sham interviews, and they are. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Look like clowns.
But I want to know this: how much money is the NFL giving Houston, or will we in the next few months? Bold prediction. You know what, Deshaun Watson? At this point, we can't get any legal representation, legal findings here, so we're just going to let him play. They're either going to let Deshaun Watson play or let him be traded without fear of any suspension. Mm-hmm. That's my prediction. That's what Houston's going to get for hiring Lovie Smith.
Just like I said, they look like clowns. What's the point? If this is what ends up happening and Lovie Smith is your guy, why the hell did you fire David Culley? What's the difference? What's the difference? David Culley was a first-time head coach at the age of 66. African-American, did a great job, I think, given what he had.
Right.
Lovie Smith hasn't had a winning season in a decade.
And this is, for Black America, from my perspective, this is once again white liberals handing you a kernel that you think is something big, and it's not.
And by the way,
Brian Flores should get that job.
Yeah. And by the way, this does nothing to help the case at all for more black coaches.
Because he's going to fail. Well, he's going to fail miserably.
But here's my thing: Lovie Smith has already been a head coach.
Yeah.
And flamed out at the end. Frankly,
yeah.
That we can all just say that he flamed out. Right?
Yes, he did a terrible job here.
What we're advocating for, and I thought the message was all along, was some of these other guys who have not yet been head coaches.
Yes.
Who are coordinators.
New opportunities. Yes.
This isn't a new opportunity.
No, it's not.
This is just recycling the same head coaches that other guys have had already.
And I don't even know if I should say this, but if I'm Lovie Smith, I got to open my eye a little bit. What's going on here? Am I really getting this job because I'm the best man for the job? At this point in my life, look, Lovie Smith 20 years ago at Brian Flores' age, okay, we got a fair fight here. All right. Lovie Smith at his age right now, and compared to Brian Flores, where he is and how relatable he is to today's players and how much he got out of his players and how hard they played. And I mean, and him being, attached to the modern, this game changes fast in the NFL. Lovie had, he's been in college. He ain't been around for a while. It changes fast. And you're going to make the case to me that Lovie Smith at this point in his career is a better choice than Brian Flores? How do you make that case? And if I'm Lovie Smith, do I not say, what's going on here?
It leaves it, to me, it just leaves a sour taste.
Yeah.
It really does. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's nothing. This is typical NFL. You can address the issue all you want. This does nothing to solve it.
I totally agree.
Nothing.
100%. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. We haven't had a whole lot of fun today, except laughing at idiots. But we've had some very heavy-weighted topics today. I get it, but I hope you guys are enjoying this intelligent conversation for the most part, and we're asking real questions. But next, we're gonna have some fun with Greg Wolf. I don't know if that was a great tease or not. Yes, it is. He went to the All-Star game. He was the host. We'll talk to him next. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth,
wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbor at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964-0400. Cryptocurrency is all the rage. He will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Our second hour is presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a different way of primary care. Check them out at BAMMC.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Greg Wolf. He is the host of the Lightning Games, obviously. You know him well, but this week got a chance to do his gig in Las Vegas, baby, for the NHL All-Star Game, and we welcome him back. What's up, Greg? How are you, my friend?
Doing great, JP. Brother.
Thank you for joining us off your Vegas hangover, man. That must have been quite a week.
It was pretty epic, JP. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little jet lagged as I didn't really get home until about 10:30 last night, and I've already been up this morning at the crack of dawn doing all the media tour, if you will. But man, I don't know how it was perceived necessarily on television because I was in there live. But to see it live, to be a part of it, just in a small factor of it, it was pretty epic to say the least. Our boys, obviously, as you guys saw, showed out. Hedman with the hardest shot victory, Vazzy with the save streak, and Stammer almost had the 21 and 22 out there on the boulevard, man. He was close. We're talking like maybe inches from having that victory as well. So it could have been a clean sweep for our boys. But still, regardless, entertaining nonetheless, and it was a pretty awesome time to be involved in all that.
That thing Stamkos was doing out there, that was freaking hilarious and fun and bizarre all at the same time. Where were you? What did it look like in live? What did that look like?
So I was pretty much, at the T-Mobile Arena. I wasn't sure, like, when I got to town, what exactly they were going to have me doing. And when we saw, pretty close to the actual event is when they announced, the shooting contest out on the boulevard, the Fountains of Bellagio, and the 21 and 22. So that stuff was released pretty close to the event. So when I got word that I was going to be out there hosting, I wasn't really sure what exactly I was going to be doing. I didn't know if I was going to be out on the boulevard, if I was going to be inside the arena. But pretty much most of the stuff that I do at Amalie is pretty much what they had me doing at the T-Mobile Arena. So all the in-game elements, obviously Katie Marie, who was one of the co-hosts in Vegas, she was my cohort for the game. So her and I tag teamed a lot of different breaks together, a lot of crowd pumps, obviously trivia contests. We did mascot dance-offs. We did all sorts of fun and game stuff with fans. So that was pretty much my hub for both days, skills included. I did co-host the mascot game with my buddy Mike Todd from the Columbus Blue Jackets, which we did here in Tampa back in 2018. So to reunite with him was awesome. That event was always streamed live on NHL.com. Millions watched that around the globe. So to be able to do the play-by-play with him was such a treat, man. It was awesome.
And that sounds fantastic. Now, of course, you got to be hanging out with all great players and stuff. So brush with greatness. Like how many, tell me some good behind the scenes stories. Like who'd you get to talk to, hang out with, take pictures with, give me some of that stuff.
I mean, for the most part, with the players and how involved that they were, I mean, unless you were media or unless you were, at a specific event, I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with the players because you have to understand, you've got a crew of individuals that are working with the National Hockey League game presentation folks, and we're all coming in from different parts of the country. Obviously, I come from Columbus, I'm coming from Tampa. Al Murdoch, who is the voice of God, the in-game PA, he comes from Vancouver. So you've got all these elements coming together to work together for the first time with the NHL officials. So you have to rehearse. And so the day that I got in on Thursday. And by the time I got into Vegas and got checked in, got to the hotel and dropped my bags and went right to the arena, that was a day to get credentialed to kind of go over things with people, get your script, even though your script is going to change 46 times between now and then. So we literally had to do two full rehearsals at the arena for the skills competition before the skills competition. And then so as soon as the skills competition was over, now we all had to stay and we had to now rehearse for the All-Star game because the All-Star game is at noon in Vegas, 3 over here.
Right.
So you got to figure you have a very limited window again to rehearse things. So we literally had to get back to the arena the next day after rehearsing the night before. We were back at the arena at 7 a.m. and rehearsed pretty much until about, doors were at 10:45. We were pretty much up until doors. Ooh. Machine Gun Kelly he probably went through his stuff 4 times because you saw he came in on a floating stage and they had to rig everything and the first time it wasn't right. And so there are so many moving parts behind the scenes that you're literally working. Like as much as I would have loved to have been hanging out with the players and been involved in all that, I was literally there working from the moment I set foot on that ground in Vegas to the moment I left.
Well, that's you. You're a true professional. And of course, that's when you go to Vegas and you have to work that much, it's the usual, right? Guys like me, everybody else is like, oh, you got to go to Vegas. It's so much fun. You played around. And you're like, no, I work 24/7. I didn't even get a good meal for God's sakes. That's you know what? That's enlightening to many of us, So,
that's what we sign up for,
right,
know? I mean,
exactly.
There is the glamorous, aspect of the job and those things come in due time and they happen when they happen. But like you just said, you think, oh, I'm going to Vegas and I'm going to be partying and at the slots and eating steak dinners and lobster. It's like, no, man, I'm literally eating a pizza out of a box in control room between, point A and point B just so I can get something in my stomach because we're right back on the stage and we're doing it again and we're doing it again. So, but overall, man, it still was remarkable. You really have to kind of step back and take it all in and kind of, take a moment for yourself to realize the pinnacle that you've reached and where you're at, and the fact that they enjoy what you do. It's a testament again to the Lightning Vision crew, because I wouldn't be there if they didn't make me and you, JP, look good every single night in and night out. So to them, man.
But you do a hell of a job. That's why they selected you, no doubt about it. Hey, are you going to have any duties at the game at all coming to Nashville at the end of the month?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, again, it's technically a home game for Nashville. Originally, when I got the call from the league, I thought that's what it was going to be for. And they were like, nah, it's technically a home game for them. Just like, if we ever figure out an outdoor series at Raymond James Stadium, we'd be hard-pressed to allow, if we get a Florida outdoor series, we're not letting Florida Panthers hosts come into our backyard and do anything. No, hell no. So I get it. I totally understand. So if I do go to Nashville, it's going to be as a fan.
Well, good. Because I'm going too. My daughter goes to school up there, so we're going to put together a whole thing. That'll be fun. Greg Wolf joining us here, in-game host. Well, you should go because now you can party. Let's go. Come on, man. You don't have to work.
I know. I very well may, dude. Trust me. It's on the top of my mind right now to maybe go up there.
Well, I'm going to Super Bowl, leaving tomorrow. So we'll be doing our shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from Super Bowl in LA, which is going to be a freaking madhouse on Radio Row. There's going to be so many celebs. It's going to be ridiculous. But I'm doing a gig with Snoop Dogg on Tuesday, tomorrow. We're doing the Wounded Warriors versus Alumni game. Football game. They have a flag football game every year. So I'm supposed to set up the MC type thing and then hand the mic over to Snoop Dogg. So I'm trying to think of a really good introduction. So if you got anything, let me know, bro.
I will send you some pointers and some lingo. That'll hit you up.
I need it. Maybe I shouldn't be asking a fellow white guy though. I don't know. Maybe I should be calling Vo Williams just to get the real good stuff. I don't know. Hey, so from a hockey standpoint, because you are a huge hockey fan, the guys are going to be well rested. I mean, we don't play till the 10th. Our next home game's the 23rd. While all these other teams are making up games, I think this is setting up really, really well for the Bolts to make a great run. What are your thoughts?
I would agree because, like you said, we need a little bit more time here for our guys to be rested. Obviously, Chernak, Kucherov, I do believe that they will be good to go here. I would hope that. Yeah, I think the game on the 10th will kind of be the first testament. But February is kind of a slow month, and we kind of were steamrolling a little bit there at the end, heading into the All-Star break. And now with this Olympic break where they're making up some of the games because of the COVID postponements, we're kind of fortunate in regards that we really don't have to travel a whole lot and play a whole lot this month. So we do get that rest heading down the stretch, the playoff push, if you will. It's going to be amazing, too, because we know we've got almost 13 or 14 games in April at home, a couple back-to-backs, and it's almost like every other day. I don't think we've ever had a regular season month like that, obviously with the Olympic break, and that kind of pushed things back here a bit. But I agree with you, man. I think we're going to be well rested and healthy, hopefully, fingers crossed, heading into this playoff push. And I was talking to fans of all teams at All-Star, from Boston fans to Philly fans, Calgary fans, you name it. And they all said the same thing. They're like, you guys are primed to do it again. And coming from other fans to see that, not like, oh, we're going to take you guys out. It was like, damn, man, you guys can do it again. It's like, we really can. If we maintain health, give me another team in the league that can put it on when you need to put it on when it comes to the playoffs. We're not talking regular season here, but our boys know what needs to be done when it comes to that time. So no other team in the league right now knows that more than the Lightning. And I think we should feel really good at this point where we are at in the season, having played like this without Cooch, to getting Cooch back and Chernak back and being at full scale. It's going to be a great time down the stretch here.
Greg Wolf joining us here. And I got to say, a Vegas Lightning Stanley Cup final could be really fun, right? We could enjoy that arena. They can enjoy ours. All our fans going out to Vegas. That could be fun, huh?
I would love to see a Vegas Bowl final, and I think it's possible. Anything's possible, but looking at Jonathan Marchessault, he's obviously one of our former players. He is a god out there. Mark Stone, obviously. Yeah. So they've got guys. They've got talent, but they haven't quite been in the position we have the last two seasons. Obviously playing bubble and then can make it happen at home. I think we've got that chip on our shoulder that's going to carry a lot of weight. Even if we do face a Vegas, I still feel better about our chances knowing where we've been and knowing what needs to get done, man. But how awesome would that be? Oh. Those are two amazing cities, Vegas and Tampa. Come on, it would not be any better.
I'm all in. I haven't been to that Vegas arena yet, or the new football arena either. Their stadium there, Allegiant Stadium. That thing looks like a freaking space. I saw it when I flew in one day on a stopover. But man, I tell you what, that's got to be such a great city for a major event, even though you didn't get to see much of it.
It's definitely a sports city. I'm sure people don't want to say that, but it really is a sports city. I mean, those arenas and stadium, I mean, they are stone's throw away from each other. But T-Mobile Arena is a beautiful arena. They did a fantastic job with that. It's very fan-friendly, very easy to navigate. Their options for food and drinks are fantastic. I mean, it's a very cool place to definitely check out. You definitely should see their production and see a game at that arena if you have a chance to get over there, because it is spectacular. You
didn't see Alvin Kamara at the strip club, did you? Like by chance?
I didn't, man. The only place I ventured out to Saturday night after it was all over, which I did get to see our good friend Billy Wickett
nice.
In the block party. Wickett was out there. I saw Steve Griggs was out there, so it was good to kind of catch up with some folks. But I went to Giada from the Food Network. She has a restaurant at the Cromwell, and one of my buddies, Nicky P, he's a director of player development for the Caesars Group. He and I caught up. He's a Tampa kid. He's done fantastic out there, and we had dinner there at Giada, and it was awesome. So that's really the only night I really got to just get out and have a good dinner and kind of relic and relevant all the amazingness that was the All-Star Weekend.
All right, my friend, go get some sleep. I know you've been doing the media tour. Thanks for taking time out for us a little bit. Well-deserved, man.
What is sleep, JP? I have to get back to USF basketball tonight, man. It does not stop.
You are amazing. All right, brother. Success sucks. I know.
All right, man. Thanks, brother.
Thanks. The great Greg Wolf right there. Oh, man. It is so funny. I used to get that all the time when, at Channel 8, you go away when I was traveling with the Bucks, and you come back and they're like, oh, how was New York? And you're like, all right, we flew in, went to our hotel room, dropped our stuff, ran out, did a live shot, grabbed some dinner, came back, put a package together for the 11 o'clock, woke up in the morning, did a 2-hour pregame show, went to the game, left right after the game. It's like I got 4 hours sleep, and I saw New York, but no one wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. They're like, nah. So I go, oh, that was great. We partied all time. We didn't do any work. So this is the way it is. It's the business. All right, our final break right here. Then we'll come back. Got a couple of stories we got to get to. Might even throw an NBA story in there because there's a lot going on at the trade deadline. So stay with us. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with claim on homeowner insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service, well, anywhere, lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, a couple other things we wanted to get to. Is James Harden on the trade block or not? He's not playing. The Nets have lost 8 in a row. I guess all these guarantees that the Nets are going to win the NBA championship aren't quite working out. Of course, I said from the very beginning, it ain't going to work.
No.
Too many stars, not enough role players, and the stars you got,
Well, I mean, what do you expect there? Kevin Durant's out. James Harden's hurt too. And Kyrie Irving.
Is he hurt or is he just not wanting to play? He didn't play. He's got a hamstring, so it's like, is he hurt?
I don't know what to make of NBA injuries. These guys are sitting out for, a sore muscle or whatever every game. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Kyrie Irving's playing 50% of the games. I mean, what do you expect? But can we just agree that this whole era of basketball right now, where we put 2 or 3 guys on the court that are awesome, surrounded by a bunch of guys
Scrubs
who suck,
yeah,
or a bunch of guys who are old,
yeah,
eventually it's going to catch up.
Look at the teams that are really doing well. The Suns, Devin Booker,
the Heat are the number 1 seed.
The Heat. I haven't seen them on television at all. I don't watch a lot of NBA, but do they ever even feature them on NBA in the NBA games?
No.
The Bucks obviously are the defending champions, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at these teams that are winning because they go out. They got young players, good young players that are playing hard.
The
Grizzlies. Look at Ja Morant. Oh my God. Where the hell is Zion? Where is he? What is he doing? Like what? Like how was that the worst pick? I don't want to say the worst pick ever, but we knew Ja Morant was going to be a better player. I mean, we said, early on he will be, but down. And Zion may become something amazing, but
not at 300 pounds.
He ain't. He's just not. Yeah, I don't think he has the. He certainly doesn't have the discipline to be a great player.
He's breaking down. But this is back to the heart. This is typical NBA where it's never about the games, is it? It's about everything that's going on outside of the
always
game.
At the NBA. It's like
always
who wears it? Like we were in the middle of the finals last year, and it was like the number one story was where's KD going to play or where's this guy going to play? I'm like, we're in the finals. Can we not talk about the actual games in the finals? We got a great finals going on. No.
Yeah.
And it's all about the future and the stars.
Yeah. And Russell Westbrook, where's he getting dealt to?
He's not even playing. Who goes first, Westbrook or Vogel? Yeah, come on.
Let's make a 30-minute segment out of it.
Come on, but we all know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Vogel's getting fired because he won't play a guy that tanks their chances down the stretch of the game.
Did you see the Lakers fans the other night?
No.
There was like a late game situation, and they're passing the ball around, and Westbrook gets it in the corner. No.
Don't shoot.
And he shot it.
Don't shoot.
And he shot it.
What? Let me guess. Clang.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy at this point, man.
No, come on.
I do a little bit.
Come on. No, never.
A little bit.
Never. All right. So this kind of just dropped. D-Ray's Bay did a story. Noah Pransky got some internal communications as to the funding of what Hillsborough County has for a projected Rays Stadium. He said it's $193.7 million, which is obviously not going to get it done when the price tag on the stadium that they're presenting right now is $860 million. That's without a roof, with $90 million option to add a roof, $90 to $160 million. So we could get close to $1 billion for the price tag, but not going to be $1.2 billion as many had speculated. Wrong again. But in the this tax analysis, it says $149 million. I do not think that $193 million. I do not think that's inclusive. It can't be. That's the tourist development taxes. $155 million, $19.54 million in property taxes. Okay, a special district assessment. Now the TSA plan that they just put out today, I thought the biggest number in that, as far as revenue sources, was the property tax number of the surrounding area, the gas works that Darrell Shaw is developing, and then the entertainment district around the baseball park itself. And that tax is estimated at $14.1 million annually. Okay, annually. So that is tax money that's coming into the coffers of the city just based on the development. Now, that money, property taxes, obviously goes to the general fund, and Eric Castor said we're not going to touch those. But obviously, if the stadium is generating $14.1 million annually in increased property taxes, and that's going to be a low number. That's just in those districts right next to it. That doesn't even take into account what they call the halo effect, which is all the other businesses and undeveloped areas around there where they're currently getting, for an empty warehouse, I don't know, a couple thousand a year in property taxes, where they build, some homes or multifamily where they're going to get hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's that halo effect that that economists don't necessarily take into effect, but it's obviously a direct effect of the stadium being there. So I think it's clearly within her political realm to say, well, that's, we're adding $14.1 million annually in property taxes. We could use that money to help fund the stadium. I don't think there's any question about that. So this is just, tourist development taxes of $155 million. And I'm not even sure if that over the life of the stadium, they just added a 6 cent to the hotel tax, which could, obviously produce hundreds of millions of dollars that can also be used for that. So again, this to me is a good sign that there's plenty of, there's so many people who said, oh, there's no money available in Hillsborough County. They don't have any money, which is just stupid because of course we do. And this shows that there's basically $200 million there. When you throw in $14 million per year over the life of the stadium, that's what, 28, 30, that's over, $400 million. That's a lot of quiche. That's more than enough to pay for the city's part of it right there, that alone. So again, this stadium is going to produce a ton of ancillary halo effect money and direct money that's going to be coming into the coffers because the stadium is built there. So again, the developments here are very, very positive. These are, avenues that are not general fund money that can be used for the stadium. All right. Our thanks to Greg Wolf, who joined us today. Great conversations on a lot of weighty topics. Still a little different show today, but hope you enjoyed it. We try to take on some of the bigger topics and we bring you the unfiltered version of our thoughts. So I always want to hear from you as well at FanStreamJP, at the JP Peterson Show. Follow us on Twitter. Follow our YouTube channel. Subscribe so you can get the show each and every day. And don't forget to download our app as well. You can listen to it every day, anytime. Just tap that app. The show comes up right away, right from the beginning. Thanks so much for listening. Our numbers are exploding. Thanks to you guys. Keep telling your friends about it. We'll be back tomorrow. See you then. Super Bowl this week.